Yo, what up guys? For this video, I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to show you how to build a really cool horse-based scrap farm that's going to make you guys like basically a million scrap if you just build it out of like whatever material. So, I feel like I haven't seen that many videos on this. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that have covered it, but I've been seeing this built a lot more recently. So, I'm going to explain this as best as possible for new players as well. So, basically, this is what it's going to look like, but I'm going to start and build it from anew. So let's come over here. I'm just going to build out of stone because this doesn't need to be metal. Basically, build a few foundations. Let me lower the volume. Like this. And let's build 3 out. So let's build a 2x3. And then add some ramps. Like this. And then you could add 2 frames. And then come around like this. And put roofs on. So it's just sort of basic shape. And what you can do is, let's do this first. Let's get a shelf like right here. Then we can place our TC back here. So the idea of this base is it's going to get you scrap by getting fertilizer, which you can trade in at outposts. So get a few of these hitch and trows. They're extremely cheap. And place them all along the wall of one of the base. It doesn't really matter how many. The amount you need is going to be dependent on the amount of horses that you have, basically. So you could put them on this side as well, just like this. And once you get those, like this, you can come and spawn your horses or find horses. You can buy horses for really cheap as well. If you start to buy a few horses, I think it's like 70 scrap for a saddle, you'll make back that scrap if you buy like 4 horses extremely quick. So take all the horses you find and drive them into your base and put them up against the trough. So you want them sort of like this. And you can get as many as you want. I can only spawn a certain amount in, but that doesn't really matter. So you have this, and then let's just grab one more, so we'll do 4 for now. Basically, what this does, you can get off, is it's going to allow the horses to eat from these foods. Because horses will naturally despawn, die, or decay, whatever you want to call it. As long as they're eating at one of these hitch and trows, they'll never go away. But the problem is, how do you get enough food? Well, if you look and you go to Outpost or Bandit Camp, whatever, they're usually combined on most servers. I think it's Bandit Camp that sells it though. You can buy at the food shop 6 pickles for 1 scrap. So for 10 scrap, you can get 60 pickles. That's enough to fill up an entire hitch and trough for only 10 scrap. So I'm just going to spawn them in. But as you can see, it's more than enough scrap, or more than enough pickles to feed the entirety of your horses forever. And it's cheap. 10 scrap is nothing. So you could take all this and fill up, and you'll see the horses are going to start to eat food. Like that. And let's keep filling these up, because you want all your horses to be eating. And I'm going to explain what this does in a second. And the type of food they eat doesn't really matter. Pickles will get them the full hunger. Or the full stamina bar. Okay. So once you have this, your horses are eating. And what they're going to produce is poop. And I'm not sure, like, you can find it somewhere in the menu, which I'll do in a second. But poop, basically, you can put in the composter. So I'll place that down right now and show you what that does. So you have the composters. Like this. And putting that in is going to compost your poop and turn it into a fertilizer. So the more horses, the more pickles, the more poop you get, the more poop you can put in to the composter. And the more composters you have will speed up the time that it takes to compost the poop into here it is, horse dung, into fertilizer. So you take this and you could put it into the composter like this. Just as much as you get, you You could split it up. Composters are extremely easy to craft if you want this to go quicker. So basically, I'm going to add some doors here, of course, as well. But what this will do is we'll compost your poop into fertilizer. So if you look on the map, the part where you get scrap, you come to Outpost, or I think it's Bandit Camp, but unless they're combined, I usually play on servers where they're combined. You can find at one of these shops, it's going to this shop here, it's the Produce Exchange. You could sell 2 fertilizer and get back 3 scrap. So if you do that in a large amount, depending on the amount of horses you have, you can get tons of fertilizer insanely quick just by composting. And it'll just go and go and go. And it'll be infinite. Basically, you could just leave this here the entire wipe, not even bother with it. You can place some boxes in here as well to store stuff. And it'll just go. You come check your fertilizer. You run to Outpost. And you just sit there for a while and exchange scrap. In a day, you'll end up having... You can get thousands of scrap from this. And if you don't feel like trading it and sitting there because the shop takes a long time, you can even make a shop and sell it for slightly less, and people will buy the fertilizer. So using this method, you can get infinite scrap for basically 0 resources to set up. All you need to do is find some horses, basically, and then just go build it by Bandit Camp or Outpost, whichever, depending on the server, and then you can get infinite scrap. I think it's a really cool method. There's nothing more. You don't need power. You don't need water, electricity. You don't need any industrial things. If someone raids, okay, they get a few horses. Like it doesn't really matter. If you need to, you could honeycomb the base like this. It's extremely easy. It's totally worth doing. I highly recommend it. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed, then let me know if you want to see more of these tutorial type videos. And if you want to see how to make scrap by cloth farms or hemp farms with the cloning, I can also do that. I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next video.